Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 4 of my journey from start to stage, where I will be competing in a competition on the Gold Coast in September, 11 weeks from this week. And I'm here to share my journey with you in hope that you will not only share it with me, but also maybe learn a thing or two along the way about what it takes to get your body into that type of shape that you are able to get up on stage with very low body fat, strong muscles, and wearing a bikini with high heels. Not the best bit. So we have been speaking, I've been sharing with you, which I'm going to do again today, what my weigh-in and measurements told me about the last 7 days. I'm also going to share with you a supplement that I've been taking and why I'm taking that supplement. I'm going to share with you something that I've learnt this week. And I'm also going to share with you what these bikinis look like that we have to wear up on stage. So let me start with what I did well. So I normally like to ask myself each week, what did you do right, Dana? Because just criticizing myself on what maybe I didn't achieve or what I did wrong, it sort of isn't conducive to allowing me to feel like I'm going forward. In fact, it can even pull me down. So I like to always start with what I did right. So girls, what I did well is last week I said to you I was going to, one of my goals was to ring a posing coach, and she is someone that helps you to learn how to walk, how to stand, how to create different angles in the body so that it creates an illusion as well as shapes and shows off your different body parts, from your bottom to your hamstrings, to your arms, your back, your shoulders, and all those different bits involved. Yeah. So I did that. So my step was I rang my coach and asked if she had a phone number, and she did her research and found somebody for me on the Gold Coast, and her name is Mel. And I got in contact with Mel over Facebook, and this is where my first hurdle came into place, or my first learning lesson this week. And I saw Mel on Facebook and naturally just went to Mel's page, and there's all these photos of her obviously having competed, and she looked very, very young, absolutely beautiful. And my first instinct was, OMG, Dana, you cannot go to her. She's so young. What are you doing? And that was my very first instinct. But lucky for me, I've learnt that those first thoughts are often fear-based thoughts. And so I sort of sat with myself for a moment and said, well, what's your problem? Like, you're not in here to compete against this girl. You're in here to compete against yourself. And here you are already setting up judgment, what's going on. And I sort of realized that it was a fear thing. It was like, oh my goodness, she's going to judge me. I'm old. I'm not good enough, blah, 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 blah. And so I thought, well, I better make that phone call sooner rather than later. So I did. So I got to meet Mel on Sunday, and we did a session together. Firstly, I'll say, most beautiful girl on the planet, inside and out. So I was so thankful that I had not only chose to ask Mel to help me with my posing, but to give myself a clip up the ear to go fancy judging. And not that I wasn't judging her badly, but it was more judgment on, oh my God, I can't be around someone like that because she's so perfect, and it was just silly behavior on my part. So I overcome that hurdle, which I was quite proud of, because I realized it was a stupid thought. It was from my past conditioning of not feeling enough, not being good enough. And I allowed myself to have the thought, but I allowed it to pass through and continue on my journey of what I want to achieve. And that is to get up on stage and continue this emotional journey that it does take you on to get to that point. This is why I'm doing it. So I was quite proud of myself. So that was a big tick. I will say, girls, the thought she did say to me, now I want you to bring your booty shorts, your heels, and your joggers. And I'm like, okay, booty shorts, booty shorts. OMG. I don't own booty shorts, girls. And so I had to go to Rockwear up at Harbour Town and find out what are booty shorts. Well, these are booty shorts. They're little enough that you can see them in this picture because they are so tiny. And what they do is they obviously are very tight fitting, but they sort of show off your bottom, and it allows Mel to see when you're doing your posing that you're activating the correct muscles in the different poses. So there is a purpose behind it. So I had to go out and buy them. And that was another headspace of this is just crazy. But anyway, I was able to wear my booty shorts, which was great, with my heels. And I thought, oh, I better shave my legs. Probably haven't done that for a season. And so I was busily shaving my legs on Sunday morning and thought, well, I'm posing. I might have to put my arms above my head. Oh, I better shave under my armpits. So all this stuff. So here I was shaving my arms, shaving my legs. And when I got there and I had to get into these booty shorts, I looked down and I thought, you forgot to moisturize. So I had shaved legs, but they were dry as all. So it wasn't a great look. I thought, oh, well, get over yourself. So move on. So what we discovered was a couple of things during my posing. And one was I was wobbly on those heels. So I think I showed you girls those heels last week. And those heels are wobbly. I was struggling. I was struggling to walk in them. I was struggling to pose in them. And Mel suggested that I buy a new pair of heels that maybe have a strap and do up so that I felt a little bit more secure, and that would maybe allow me to walk better and to be able to get into these different shapes a bit easier. So I agree with Mel. So tick to that one as well. And the only other thing I realized with her, which I already knew about, was how tight I am through my torso. So when you do these on-stage fitness shows, there's a lot of posing involved, but there's a lot of like turning the upper body and keeping the lower body still. And so it creates these angles, and it allows you to look tinier through the waist and your bottom to what they call pop and things like that. So anyway, because I was so tight in my upper body, I wasn't really popping. I was a little bit flat. Anyway, it was encouragement for me to get onto my stretching and mobility practice. Yeah. So coming to that, I will come to that a bit later. What I also did really well was I ate well, I slept well, I did all my workouts. So that was really good. But my next aha moment that I wanted to share with you girls was I'm all about the 80-20 rule. Be great 80% of the time, be naughty 20% of the time, and rock and roll, happy days. But because I'm getting up on stage in a bikini and your body fat is seriously quite low, some of these girls actually lose their periods when they go on stage, which means they're at quite an unhealthy body fat level. Obviously, I don't have a period. I'm menopausal, so that isn't an issue for me. But you can understand this is how low you get your body fat. So I'm very aware that last time I did this, which was 5 years ago, I was 49, I became a perfectionist, and 80-20 rule went out the window to the point that I was 99 to 1. Like, I did not deviate my food by 5 grams, 5 grams being a teaspoon. I was so perfect and so focused and so disciplined that it really led me into post-show what we call disordered eating. And what that basically means is I was so dedicated, I was so disciplined, I was so perfect that it took me, I would maybe say 12 months to eat one kettle chip. Now, for you girls listening, you're like, OMG. What I understand is when you become so good at something and you start to see the results, you want to, you feel in control, and it's like a power trip. And for me, that is how it felt. I felt strong, I felt in control, I felt powerful. I felt like I could conquer the world because I had conquered everything to get to that point on stage. Disordered eating, girls, is very, very, very unhealthy. And in this fitness world of getting up on stage, a lot of young girls actually do not maybe have the maturity or the wisdom to understand that they have created a problem and continue to go on this journey until they burn out, or their periods, they don't have it for so long, they're unable to childbear. Something normally cracks up. For me, it was a journey that I understood and I observed, but it was taking me a long time to come to grips with it. So because it took me so long, and I was in conversation with my coach at the time, I decided this time to be very conscious of that perfectionist attitude. I want to do everything I can to get up on stage, but I want to do it in a very, very healthy way. Now, I ate healthy last time and I exercised healthy last time, but disordered eating is not healthy, and I do not want to suffer that this time. So what I've discovered this week was what I did well was basically I was off food plan a couple of times, maybe 3 times. And so I call that eating well, because the way I figure it, I'm 3 months out, I'm thin, I've just got to increase my lean muscle mass. I'll get there, and I'm getting there in a way that I'm not affecting my mindset. In fact, I want to learn with my mindset. I want to grow with my mindset. So I tell you all this because even though the 80-20 rule is the way that I like to rock and roll most weeks in my life, I probably became 90-10 this week. So I was good with food. We always have Saturday night as a cheat night. We had our calamari, chips and salad, but there was a couple of other days where I ate off plan as well. And I don't judge myself. I'm happy about that, and I'm quite content with that. And I actually look at it as something I did well, because I'm not heading down that perfectionist journey, which can become very detrimental to your overall health. Yeah. So I tell you this because discipline and me are like that. I thrive on habits. I thrive on discipline. I thrive on having a goal and getting there. I love it. Always loved a school project. Love a school project. Ask the kids. They were like, oh God. They'd come home and go, Mum, got a school project. I'm like, happy days, let's go. And then I'd be looking for the mark, how well did we do? But anyway, so I feel like it was a tick in regard to my eating, because I wasn't perfect. And that is my goal at the moment. What I also did well was I was able to slow myself down and be able to do what I call my morning ritual. So I listened to a neuroscientist, and he often talks about how the brain works. And because I'm one of these people where I'm very active in my brain, like I feel like if I was a child, you could potentially call me ADD, and I find it difficult to sit still for long periods of time. Anyway, he comes out with these techniques to be able to allow your brain to focus. And this is really clever for me, because it's something that is vital to me being able to continue to being able to assist my clients and being able to get through my day in a productive way. So what my big tick has been this week is I have given myself the opportunity to do the morning ritual. And if you're interested in knowing what that morning ritual is, maybe I could share that with you next time. And basically what it does is it's between you're doing a breath work, you're doing focused meditation, you're doing quite a few different things, including coffee, and it brings your brain into focus. And a big tick for me, I've done that each day this week. So I'm really pleased with that. And it's really allowed me to have a completely successful week, which has been great. Okay, what I didn't do well. So girls, if you listened to me last week, my goal was to stretch more, to get the mobility and flexibility through my body, which was really highlighted at posing coaching that, Dana, you're not going great. And I was a bit of a dud, a bit of a fail in the last week. What happened was I had all the intention of doing it at a certain time. If you remember correctly, my intention was that I was not going to go to bed with Netflix, a cup of tea. I was going to do my stretching instead. Well, I discovered that that didn't quite work for me because I just was craving laying in bed on my warm electric blanket with my dandelion tea, watching my 30 minutes of Netflix before I go to sleep. And so I thought, this just isn't working. So all my learnings have been, you don't keep doing what's not working, do you? So it's not working. So I always continue rather than give up or be frustrated. It's like, that doesn't work, plan B. And so my plan B was, okay, you're not doing your stretching, you're not doing your inversion. What needs to happen for you to get some stretching going? And I decided that what I find super easy is following one of the yoga teachers on YouTube and just following them along and listening to them and not having to think. So that's exactly what I did. So I'm like, okay, so how long can you give it? And I thought, well, you know what? I want to be successful. I only want to stretch for maximum 15 minutes a day. I don't want to do the big hour things. I just don't have time. So I have been able to practice that habit for the past 3 days and I've been successful. So even though I wasn't successful in my goal to stretch before bed, I've gone to plan B. I am now being successful in that. So I'm quite happy to sit with that for now and see where that journey leads me. So that's a good thing. What else I didn't achieve? Well, that was really it. That's about all I didn't achieve this week. So that was pretty good. So the next question is, what did my weigh-in and measurement show? Before I tell you about that, I just want to tell you that this is a supplement that I take, and you don't have to worry about the brand because there's lots of different brands that have it. But if you are a woman that does do resistance training or performance type exercise, it might be running, high energy sort of stuff, or you are really trying to build up your lean muscle mass and you are working at a level to build up your lean muscle mass, creatine helps you to not only increase your lean muscle mass, it helps you to get stronger and it also helps your exercise performance. So I want to share creatine with you because it's the #1 supplement that men and women use that do things like bodybuilding, are trying to increase their lean muscle mass, and it's very, very safe. So creatine is found in your muscle cells. So 95% of creatine is found in your muscle cells, and the other 5% is found in your liver, in your kidneys, and in your brain. So what creatine does is it increases the energy in your cell. And you can imagine if you've got increased energy in your cell, you're able to lift harder, run faster, you've got more energy. So if you're able to perform your exercises better, you will ultimately get better results. So in my instance, it would be increased lean muscle mass, correct? So I take creatine. I take 5 grams every single day, and that's 1 teaspoon. And I wanted to share that supplement with you because it is a very safe supplement. And some of you sharing this journey with me may be actually resistant training and not know about this. So I did want to share that with you. What it also does is creatine stops muscle from breaking down. So not only does it put energy into the muscle cell that allows you to perform better, but it also helps to slow down muscle breakdown. So remembering that if you are eating less calories, like I don't like to call it a diet, but if you are trying to lose weight, for instance, sometimes your body will eat into your lean muscle mass as your form of energy. And we don't really want that, because if we eat into our lean muscle mass as energy, we have less muscle. Less muscle equates to a slower metabolism, and that equates to fat gain. So that is not the key. The key is how can we get as much lean muscle mass as we can, but our body composition be lots of lean muscle mass and low on the body fat. All right, so girls, I weighed and measured myself this morning, and the news wasn't a good one today. Oh, so annoying. So when I jumped on the scale this morning, my scale showed that I had lost 300 grams. Now, I may have thought that would be okay if it was body fat. But what the scale showed was I'd lost lean muscle mass. So that is not a good outcome for me, because my goal is to increase my lean muscle mass as much as I possibly can. So that scale is suggesting that my body has been eating into my lean muscle mass rather than eating into my body fat. So it showed that my body fat had increased 1%. So my body fat went up and my lean muscle mass decreased by 0.5%. So not a great outcome. It did show that my visceral fat, the fat in and around my internal organs, had decreased. So that was a good thing. But it's not a drastic result, but it isn't the result that I'm after. It's not a step in the right direction for me. It is a stagnant step, or even a little bit of a backward step. So in saying that, what I want to share now is what is my goal for next week in regard to not only that, but the big picture. But I also did my measurements, girls, and my measurements showed that I had pretty well stayed the same. My chest stayed the same, my waist stayed the same, my hips went down 0.5 centimeter, my legs went down. So it seems that I've lost lean muscle mass in my legs again. And that is my hard area to grow for some reason. So that is what the scale showed. I've got to increase my leg lean muscle mass. Alrighty, so my goal for this week is to increase my lean muscle mass. And rather than just saying, well, that's my goal, my next question is, well, how are you going to do that, Dana? So I have been given a new exercise program for the next 4 weeks. So this is called stage 2 of my preparation. And so I've got a new program, and there's lots of exercises in there that's really focusing on my bottom, underneath my bottom, and my legs. So my goal is to nail that exercise program I've been given. And knowing that I have really weight trained since my 20s, my goal is to go to failure. To now I know that my lower back isn't carrying a disc injury or anything like that. I'm going to increase my mobility, flexibility to hopefully reduce some pain out of that area. And I'm going to increase my weights with my legs and really see if I can challenge myself to be able to get those legs firing in a more positive way in the next 7 days. So that is my goal, to really nail my new exercise program. And the next goal I've got is to order those heels with a strap so I'm not wobbly and I don't fall over. And I've been given a new eating plan this week as well, but there's not much change to the eating plan. So what I was challenged with is eating so much protein in the form of meat. I was meant to eat 200 grams each night. So what we've done is we've brought that back to a easier level for me to digest, which is 120 grams. But what that's done is given me an extra snack because I must make it up. I can't just go without, because that is not compliant to increasing lean muscle mass. So I've got to hit what they call the numbers. And so I'm allowed an extra YoPro yogurt or a Fit Chobani yogurt or something like that. So I've made that like my dessert, and I can have my meat and veggies for dinner, and I'm a happy girl. So that's good because I can digest a yogurt far easier than meat all the time. So that's ended up quite positive. Okay, now the other thing I was just going to show you is this is what we have to wear on stage. So when you buy one of these bikinis, girls, they come in a beautiful box. And this lady they sort of do your measurements and see where you're at. And this is the one I wore last time. And I just thought I'd show you just so you can see how tiny they really are. Actually, it's now being caught, which isn't good. All right, well, I'm going to have to just show you. That's like the tiny little bottoms. So that's the bottoms. And then you've got like a bra top that's got like sequins. You've got like sequins, and yeah, so they're quite beautiful. But I've decided maybe I'll buy a new one for this one, because I had lots of photos taken last time, and I've really appreciated having those photos for all the work that I did. And I thought I want to get photos again, but I don't want to get them in the same bikini because I'm 5 years older. I want to be able to have a memory in a new bikini. So I'm a little bit excited. I'm going to pick a new one. So my other goal this week is to go on to the bikini maker lady and organize an appointment with her to be able to get that organized and pick what I'm going to pick. So I'll tell you about that next week. The other thing I was going to quickly say is we go into lockdown tomorrow. I'm in Queensland and our gyms are actually shut. So that is another upstreaming type thing for me. Upstreaming means problems that are going to occur that you need to think about. So that means I'm going to be training from home, and I need to be thinking about that. Am I realistically able to increase my lean muscle mass in the next 7 days with the gym shut for the next 3? Or am I better off trying to maintain my lean muscle mass through using the equipment that I do have in my home, and not be able to focus so much on increasing? So I've decided, I've had to think about it. I think what I'm going to do is do my best. I'm going to use what weights I have here. I'm going to work at my maximum capability in my workouts that I'm going to do in home. And whatever the results will be, will be. If I've done my best, you can't ask for more than that. So, all right, guys, well, that's it, I think, for me, over and out. I don't think there's anything else I wanted to share with you. Thanks for following me along on this journey. It is great to know that you are supporting me, and hopefully you're just picking up a tip or two. And let me know if you're interested to see what a day's eating looks like for me. I was thinking of maybe doing a video for you, showing you the different foods, what a day eating looks like, basically just what a day in getting prepared for one of these competitions does look like at this stage, remembering that I'm 11 weeks out, so just less than 3 months. All right, well, have a great week. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll talk to you next week. Take care.